This is the Samsung Galaxy A05s Disassembly. If you're interested in seeing more videos like this, make sure you subscribe and click on the notification bell so you'll be notified once I upload a new video. And if you need any tools, there are links in the description. To start off, the SIM tray needs to be removed. Here's a look at the SIM tray. Now, heat needs to be applied to the backplate using a hairdryer or a heat gun to loosen up the adhesive underneath, and then a pry tool can be used to pry the backplate off. Here's a look at the plastic backplate. The glass camera lens covers can be replaced by applying heat and prying them off, so you don't need to take apart the phone to replace those. And here's a look at the other side. There are 17 Phillips screws which need to be removed. A plastic pry tool can now be placed in between the back housing and the frame of the screen and ran along the edges to pop off the catches. The back housing can now be lifted up, but be careful since the flex cable for the fingerprint reader is still attached to the main board. The back housing is also made of plastic. There are some antenna flex cables on the top and bottom border of the back housing. This graphite film, which helps to transfer heat, can now be peeled off. At this point, the battery cable can be disconnected, followed by the rest of the cables. The coaxial cable on the bottom right side of the board can be disconnected by just popping it off. Looking at the main board, we can see a 2 megapixel macro lens, a 50 megapixel primary, and a 2 megapixel depth lens. The camera connectors can be disconnected by just popping them off. Also, none of the cameras have OIS or optical image stabilization. There's a secondary microphone on the top corner, and rubber gaskets around the connectors. The LED flash is located here. The proximity sensor is located on the other side, as well as the SIM and memory card reader. We can also see the 13 megapixel front-facing camera. There's copper tape on the back shields to help transfer heat. Once the copper tape has been peeled back, we can see the RAM and processor with some thermal paste on top of the processor. Here's a better look with the thermal paste removed. If you needed to replace the screen, you'd have to remove the back plate, the screws and the back housing. You then disconnect these two connectors from the main board, as well as this one from the subboard. Heat up the front of the phone where the screen is to loosen up the adhesive underneath, pry the old screen off, apply new adhesive and reapply the new screen, making sure you run these flex cables back to the opening in the mid-frame, and reassemble the phone. Looking at the subboard, we can see a rubber gasket around the headphone jack, charger port, and connector. The primary microphone is located underneath the shield. Here's a look at the other side. The vibrator motor is located on the bottom corner and it's held down with some adhesive, so if you needed to replace that, you have to just apply some heat and gently pry it off. The bottom speaker is located on the other corner, which is also held down with some adhesive. To remove the battery, there's a pull pouch provided to help you pry it off. And here's the 5000 mAh battery. The flex cable for the volume keys and power button is located on this side, which is held on with some adhesive. To replace that, you have to just gently peel it off. And the same goes for the earpiece speaker, which is located on top. There are some thermal pads over here on the frame, which help to transfer heat away from the processor and RAM. For the repairability score on this phone, I give it a 9 out of 10. It's very simple to take this phone apart, and the adhesive holding the backplate down isn't too strong, so with a little bit of heat, you can easily pry it off. Now it's time to put the phone back together. Once everything's back in place, apply new adhesive and reapply the backplate. Flip over the phone, power it on, and you're done. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.